Hello everyone, Alien Volt here, and this is Battalion 1944. Alright, so let's get into this. This is Battalion 1944. Now, a lot of us were anticipating this game back in May of 2017 when it was released on Kickstarter. And some people actually backed it back then. And you could back it for $18 all the way up to $2,140. Imagine spending that on a game, especially when it's released for $15 on Steam. Probably pretty disappointing. Now, they offer you a lot of choices in getting into the game. Now, I don't know if I really agree with that, because a game starting off, especially with early access, has a pretty small community, and giving people 4 different ways to play the game really divides up that community even further. But maybe you'll like it. The first one is something that PC gamers always scream for and cry about. We want servers. We want the ability to go to servers and create our own servers, custom servers, and play on those custom servers if we so choose. Otherwise, you can go into arcade, competitive, or basically non-competitive game modes. I think the thing that's going to help this game out the most, though, is the servers, because of the fact that they're going to be very open to the modding community. So modders are going to actually be able to create maps and possibly even game modes. So what that's going to do is extend the longevity of this game and possibly make it something that's going to stick around for quite some time. And that's what their goal is, and hopefully that is what indeed happens. Like I said earlier, this game was originally on Kickstarter. Then Square Enix saw them and decided to back them and financially support this game, which is awesome for a game starting off trying to do crowdfunding. I mean, now they've got financial backing, so they were able to do a little bit more with the game than what they intended. Now, and their goals were pretty big with this game. They were pretty ambitious. One, they went to the actual areas that World War I took place in, the cities, the landscapes. They took pictures. They saw these buildings in real life, what they look like, pictures of what they look like then, in person now, and they modeled their maps after them. They recorded weapons sounds and tried to get everything, well, according in their words, authentic. Now, that threw a lot of people off, especially the early backers of the game, that thought by utilizing all the authentic locations and maps and weapon sounds and motion capture technology on using real people for movement of the game, they really thought that they were going to possibly be getting something more like a tactical sim, based on old school mechanics. And that's really not what they got. What they really did was a Call of Duty, and not that that's a bad thing. Call of Duty is a really fun game, but I don't think it's what a lot of people expected when they originally backed the game, which can actually hurt their community, because as these people get the game, they've already paid for it. They don't enjoy it, or they don't like it, the direction the developers took, and then they leave a negative review. Hurts the review on Steam. But, that's part of development. Now, with this style game mode right here, it's called Diffuse. You can actually only play this on either the competitive or non-competitive game mode. It's not available in arcade, and the matches themselves are set up for 20 rounds. So, a little long, I think, for the non-competitive. For competitive, I think people are in it more for the long haul, and they don't want to hurt their score. But for non-competitive, you get people that drop all the time. And when that happens, you've got to hope that you get replacements, or you can run, 2v5, which is going to really suck. Even if you're winning and people leave because they're just like, fuck this, 10 matches already, how many matches is this? I'm not going to hang around here for an hour and play this game. So they take off. And that's been my experience so far with playing this in casual, is that people tend to leave even when we're winning. So just for no reason, they just take off or they get disconnected, and next thing you know, you're in a lopsided match, and you've got almost no chance of winning. So I personally would like to see them cut the casual rounds of this down to, like, say 10. And I don't think that's unfair or anything. I mean, if you want to go in and practice these types of matches before you go into the competitive game modes, 10 rounds is plenty to get practice, and you know, if you want another one, you just jump back in. 20 is a bit much. Now, as far as the other game modes, I mean, Team Deathmatch, Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and Domination, they're all available in arcade only. The Diffuse is a game mode that's unique to competitive and non-competitive. The other game modes are all for arcade. Now, that's not saying that custom servers can't do whatever they want, because of the fact that people can host their own private servers. On a custom server, you can make your own rules and, you know, whatever style gameplay you want in matches. So I'm sure there's a lot more available options there for playing, depending on how you choose to play the game. Whether you do an auto matchmaking system or whether you actually go on the servers and look for the type of server and gameplay you want to play. Now, graphically, I really like the player models so far. I mean, I think the player models are looking good. I think they lack detail right now, and there's little things like the helmets. You can see a crack down the middle where it looks like, you know, a cheap toy, plastic toy helmets are put together and glued, and you can still see that little line. Hopefully that's going to be addressed along with some of the other graphics, because in some areas it just seems kind of washed out a little bit, but it's still really early. They've got a year. Most game developers don't really optimize and, you know, fine-tune HD graphics and stuff until right up near the end when they're going to release the game. They work on more mechanics and server, you know, problems and stability before they do anything else. But I am liking the maps. I mean, this map is probably one of my least favorites just because it's pretty open and really good for snipers. I mean, if you're a sniper, this is a really good map. But this is probably the map I've seen the most complaints on that people don't like, just because there's a lot of open areas. But there's also a lot of trenches, and the trenches give you a pretty decent area to get around because you can't really get right over the trenches in most areas. So I actually like the map. I think it's pretty good. I like it, I think, because it's so open and large, and I kind of like larger maps. Maybe it's just because I played a lot of Battlefield. Sounds sound decent, but they just sound like normal games to me. I don't know how authentic these weapon sounds really are, because they don't sound like weapons that I fired. But maybe they're placeholders too. Now, one thing that's bad about this game right now is there's no auto balance. So you can get in a match and have it be 6 against 4, and you're there the whole time. I also am still experiencing disconnects occasionally for no reason. You just get dropped from the game. Now, one thing about this game that's going to probably piss a lot of people off, especially with the fact that EA is getting so much negative publicity right now, is loot crates. And their loot crates are rather expensive compared to other loot crates. Twice as expensive as the loot crates in Overwatch. And I think it's something like 26 cents more per loot crate than Battlefield 1. So they're asking a pretty penny for it. The only difference is that you can sell the skins and stuff that you get out of these loot crates. So like Counter-Strike and even H1Z1, you can go on the market and you can buy skins or you can sell skins. You don't necessarily have to buy the loot crates, but if you get them and you get duplicates or something you don't want, you can turn around and sell it on the market. Here's an example of some of the skins they have in the game. So you can look them up, see what you like, and then hit up the Steam market and purchase them. Alright, so when you go on the market, you can actually see the prices of what people are already selling these items for. And some of them aren't going to be really worth anything, you know, a few cents, maybe a couple dollars for some of them. But then when you get into some of the more extravagant skins, you're going to pay a little bit more money for them. Well, if you really want to spend that much money on some of these skins. I mean, I don't see people spending that much, but obviously they do because they're there, which is really shocking for me. I mean, my son told me that some of the skins in Counter-Strike can sell for up to $1,000, and I was like, really? Are you kidding me? That's insane. If I found one of those skins, I guess I'd sell it too, because I definitely wouldn't want to keep something worth $1,000 in a game that, you know, even if I played it all the time. That's a lot of money. But as you can see, some of these skins are quite expensive. I mean, ranging all the way up to almost $600, $500 and something dollars. That's pretty crazy, especially for a game that's still in early access. So I guess when you take that into consideration, the double cost for loot crates isn't necessarily that bad, but I think they're still a little expensive for, you know, the average consumer that just wants to buy a couple skins. They're better off just going to the community market and picking up a few things. Now, if you want to buy these loot crates, it's as easy as pushing a button and then selecting how many you want to buy. The most you can buy at one time is 25, and that will cost you right around $44. 44 US dollars. Now, personally, I think this game is shaping up pretty well, and they've got a year of development left to fine-tune everything and add some more features in, work on some optimization, although the game ran really good at, you know, 144 hertz, and it looks good. I mean, it's looking pretty good. But I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.